This is going to be a DIY video on how to look up parts online for specifically John Deere mowers. This video should serve for zero turns, tractors, push mowers, etc. Now, the main audience watching this video would be those that are looking to purchase parts online. However, this video can still be useful for those that are going to be going directly to a dealer or a shop with some useful information. So for starters, you need to locate your tag that would have your model number and your serial number. Typically on the zero turns, they're going to be located somewhere next to the engine on the back. There's plenty of videos that will show you where to locate your model number if it is somewhere else. Something else I want to note is the motor on a mower typically has its own model number. As you can see, this is a Briggs & Stratton motor where it has its own serial and model number. I work on a lot of different pieces of equipment, both that are my own and as a side hustle to fix and sell. So sometimes I do come across older pieces of equipment where the motor is not the original motor, but I may need a part for it. So that is why it is a good thing to understand that the motor does have its own serial and model number, which vary from the actual mower or piece of equipment. Okay, so now that we know where to find the model number, we're going to use that to search for our parts online. For this example, we're going to be using model Z335E42A. And on that sticker, you're going to have some other information too. So, as you can see on the right side of the sticker, DOM, that's date of manufacture. So the date was October 23rd, 2020. And the top number, which is partially obstructed by the cable in this picture, I apologize. We're going to come back to that, but there is one thing that could be useful, especially if you live up on like the Canada-US border or somewhere more specific like California. Okay, so typically what I'll do is I'll go straight to Google, I'll type in whatever the model number is, and then I'll include parts diagram. I do have other YouTube videos of other brands. John Deere does seem to be specific on where you can look up parts, but some other brands, like we'll say Husqvarna, Ryobi, stuff like that. There's multiple other sites you can use. There's one in particular I do like to use, which is Jack Small Engine. But for John Deere parts, they do seem to be specific. So we type that in, and I'm going to show you one way of doing this, and I'm going to show you a different way here real quick too. So as you can see, I've already clicked on it, but Z335E, owner information, parts and service, johndeere.com. We're going to click on that. Okay, and as you do this with any brand, any model, you want to constantly be making sure that you're on the correct model number on your parts diagram. So that is the correct model number. Now right here in the center of the page, we're going to click parts diagram. Okay, so here's our model, here's our parts. Again, that's one way of going in. I'm going to show you another way real quick. And that would be if you just went to John Deere parts and you didn't type in the model number. Same thing. Scroll down till you see that parts and service. Click on that. And all it's going to have you do is just an extra step. So go to your search bar here. And same thing, you can type in your model number. So here we are, back to the same spot, just a different way of doing it. Okay, from here, the way to use this site's very simple. On the left side of my screen right now, you see different pictures with basic blown up areas indicated. So the first one we'll look at on the top left is showing areas in black that are number 80. So that would be for wheels, frame, and the operator station. The picture to the right of that shows 80, 85, and 60. So 85 would be the mower deck and lift linkage. 60 would be steering and brakes, and so on and so forth. So whatever area your part is located in, you start with the most expanded section, I guess, or most generic section. In our case with this Z335E, we're going to look at one issue that pops up a lot for it, which is the wheel bushings for the front spindles. So those are located under section 80. So we're going to go to the right side of the screen and we're going to click on 80. Okay, now we have another blown up section again. So we're going to go to section 4, which is wheels and tires. And now we have a nice blown up close picture of just that front spindle. So you can see it's got all the different parts. There's not too many for this particular section, but if we zoom in, number 11 are the bushings that I'm after. Okay, so now we're going to scroll down and we're going to look for number 11 on this list. Okay, so we've got bushing. We're going to click on that. Okay, so it gives us the part number. What I like to do on any of these, including non-John Deere parts, using even different services like Jack Small Engine, which is a service that I do like, I'll copy paste that part number and do some price checks. Now, what I don't necessarily love about John Deere and some other brands on their parts pages is it refers you to get the price by selecting your local dealer. And doing this with my local dealers never gives me a price. I've never gotten a price. I have lived some other places and was able to get pricing. We're gonna select dealer. This is what I get. And it's not just this one dealer. I'm not talking trash on this specific dealer. I've had other makes and models of machines come in that were not John Deere, and they went to some of my other dealers in the area, and I got the same thing. So contact dealer for price. I know this is a cheap part, and the hours that I work for my day job, I can't get to the dealer in time because I don't come back through until at least 5 o'clock, and most of the time these places close. So this is what I do. If it's a cheaper part, I'll just go to Google and I'll search that part number. So this is kind of how I do some price checking. I wouldn't say I always avoid, but it's usually not my first pick of just going to Amazon. Amazon, in my opinion, you're going to get very, very cheap stuff. I'd rather go with an aftermarket brand, but a well-known one. But just to give you an idea, though, there's some different pricing on there. You can see you're going to need to get 4 of them, most likely. I would get 4 in this case. There's a top and a bottom on the left and the right side. If you're doing this, it's a cheap part. You might as well get 4, maybe even want to get 8. That way you have some extras. They're averaging roughly around $5. Okay, now we're going to scroll down. I'm going to show you something that I find a little bit interesting. So that link that I've already clicked on here, again, this is the John Deere page. And as you can see, it is giving me a price, so $5.93. Remember before it said contact dealer. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, so now it's showing me $5.16, and the equipment dealer that's showing up in my screen right now wasn't actually one of my choices originally in the other screen. But if I click on the pencil, it switches back to my local dealer, which was the one that popped up before, and now I have a price. So I don't understand that. And that's, again, I'm not just going to say it's a John Deere thing. I've seen this with other manufacturers as well. So it's just kind of one of the weird little nuances. Okay, so earlier in this video, I did show you where to find the model number, the date of manufacturer, and the part identifier number. And I wanted to show you one last thing. So for starters, the date of manufacturer, that's always a good thing to know, I would say, when you're trying to find parts. Some of these products have been out for long periods of time, and eventually they do make changes, and you may have a newer or older model where the changes do apply, where most of the machine may not. As far as the product identifier number goes with these John Deere units, there may be a difference, or at least it may be useful depending on where you're living to understand that a little bit. So we're going to go down to that bottom link right here, the Z-Track Mower Introduction. Okay, so ours was October 23rd, 2020. So we're going to look for the 2020 models. And as you can see, there are there's 4 different models. So there's a 49 states one, which I live in Pennsylvania. There's a California specific one. There's a Canada one and an exported one. So what I would say is if you live on the US-Canada border, this might be something to keep an eye out for. There may be some slight differences, as well as if you border California, there may be some slight difference with the California models as well. Our model number was 1GX335EB. So the first one there, like I said, I live in Pennsylvania, and that was for the lower 49 states. Okay, I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions or comments, please comment in the comment bar. If you did find this video useful, please like and subscribe, and we hope to see you again for future content. Thanks.